Hello everybody, welcome to a news update for the 31st of October on Civilization 6 coming for the Nintendo Switch. In this video I'm going to react to some things that we've kind of found out over the last week or so, and there's quite a lot to get through, so I'm not going to ramble on too much. I'm not going to talk anymore about the DLC on the Nintendo website. I'm sure they'll announce that and give us more information on that when they feel like it. Anyway, so today I'm going to start off looking at the notifications. We're also going to cover some big topics like how much space it'll take up on the Switch and things like that. So, notifications. As I've said previously, the notifications are actually going to be opened with the Y button, and we speculated that last week. We got to see a first look at that in last week's Civ video, and it looks like you can actually scroll through these notifications though of the same type, i.e. if you've got kind of multiple tech boosts you need to look through and multiple civic boosts, you can scroll through them, so they're not all coming up at once. You can kind of scroll through them, which is nice. It's a little bit different to what we had on the PC, so I like that. And they needed to simplify things for this game, like the menus, I mean, because the Switch just doesn't have as many buttons and it all looked very confusing on a Switch, so I'm happy they're kind of doing things like this. Okay, so we also learned that if you're finished, you can either press the X button to get rid of the notifications, or also ending a turn will kind of get rid of the notifications as well. So yeah, overall, I think the game's shaping up quite nicely. Like I said, it's a little bit more simplified, and the controls they're setting up nicely to actually be played in handheld mode more than anything for me. And the more that we kind of get through, we learn more about this game, the more I think, yeah, I'm buying this kind of play in handheld mode, because I've got it on the PC, so I'm not dying to get it on the Switch just to play on the telly. I mean, if I really wanted to do that, I could just plug my telly in, plug the cable into the back of my telly and play it on there. So it's really good that they're still pushing this handheld mode, and I think that's probably how I'm going to play it most. We'll see though when it comes out. Also in this video, which talked about the notifications, we got to see two Englands, which was weird. I never thought I'd see Blackburn on a Civ game, so I don't know. If you've seen Blackburn on a Civ game or any other kind of northern town, I think Blackburn's a town, I'm not sure, let me know in the comments. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about today is camera and kind of movement controls. So we got this video after, if you follow them on Twitter, you can find all this out, but we got this video after, a couple of days after, and it was talking about the controls for the camera movement. So the right analog stick is going to be moving the camera, and the left analog stick is going to be used to move to direct units. So you can kind of, by using the left analog stick, you can tell people where to go. The video, which I'll put on screen, should probably make that a little bit more obvious how that works as well. Now my thoughts on this are, again, positive. Most of these things I've been quite positive on. It's pretty simple stuff. It's as I'd have expected it to be, and I'm pretty sure from memory it's the same as Civilization Revolution, which when this game was first announced, my first reaction was it needs to learn lessons in things like control from kind of how Civ Rev used it, because Civ Rev did a pretty decent job, and I think it's shaping up, like I've said a few times already in this video, to be kind of feel nice when you're playing, which is a big part of it. Right, so we're going to move on now to ways to play. So this was another kind of mini video we got. Now this is the first time I'm sure we got to see the Switch not in kind of handheld mode, which was interesting. Can I speak? Alex, come on. We will be able to play Civ actually in more than handheld mode, which is not a surprise, but I'm being sarcastic. Anyway, so we've got this gives us some more answers on controls, sorry. So there's the handheld mode, which is the first one and the one we've seen so much of so far, and they keep pushing it, and frankly, like I said, it's the one I'm most excited about. We also have the TV mode, again, we're not so surprised, so that's when you kind of use your Joy-Con controller, your little contraption you can put together using your Joy-Cons. I imagine you can use your Pro controller as well. I've not a clue why you wouldn't be able to, so that's kind of when you just sat there like the good old days, like I was talking about on Civilization Revolution with the controller. That's pretty much going to be a similar experience, isn't it? What else we got? So we've got the touchscreen and Touch Plus controller, which is kind of using, so the touchscreen is one thing, and then the touchscreen plus controller is the other. So obviously the touchscreen, very simple. You're just using your finger to drag the camera around and things like that. It'd have been a shock if that had not been included, because obviously the Switch has touchscreen features, so duh. you'd definitely want to use them, wouldn't you? And also the fact that we've had it on iPad and that used touchscreen features, so I always expected that to be dragged over, but we'll see how that works. I wonder if, with the screen being quite small, I wonder how that'll feel, but obviously we'll not know more about that until release. Because I read some stuff on it, and I think I've talked about it before, where people were saying that unless you've got small fingers on the iPad, it was kind of a pain, and I'm pretty sure that the Switch's screen is smaller than an iPad screen, or most iPad screen, but obviously we'll have to wait and see how that works. Maybe you'll just be using your little finger for everything. Yeah. So the Touch Plus controller is maybe a bit more interesting, because obviously that's using, and it shows on the video, it shows kind of one hand scrolling and another hand on the Joy-Con. That's quite interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. I imagine it'll be okay. It's a nice little feature, but we'll have to see. I'll probably personally, from all the options I've talked about, my preference will probably just to use the Joy-Cons attached when not docked. So like holding the Switch in handheld mode and just using the Joy-Cons like it's kind of a, if you remember the PSPs, I don't know why the Switch just looks like a PSP to me, or is it a PS Vita as well, isn't it? I never had one of them. So that's how I like to play it, and with like games like Mario Odyssey, I very rarely dock my my Switch, which is weird. So yeah. Anything else we want to say on that? Overall there's a nice variety. Obviously, everybody will have their own preference how they want to play it, but there's multiple ways out there to play it. Okay, so now we'll move on to the big question, and the one which initially drove my attention to making this video, and that is how much space will Civilization 6 for the Nintendo Switch, how much space will that take up on your hard drive if you buy the digital copy from the eShop? Now, it's important to mention here, you don't have to buy the digital copy. I, for one, won't be buying the digital copy because I just like kind of cases, because you can just make noises with them. Yeah, that's the case. I just like having things in my hands, to be honest. I'd rather have something that I can physically put on a shelf. If I can't get it back on the shelf, though, actually. That I can physically put on the shelf. So sorry, the answer to that question is 4.9 gigabytes is what it's going to take up on your Switch's memory. Now, if you don't have a Switch, or you just don't know how much memory your Switch has got, I'm pretty sure they've all got 32 gigabyte storage, which isn't very much, and the Switch has been criticised for this quite a bit. But if we're considering how big, I thought it'd be more, because Civilization 6 on the PC, the base game, I'm pretty sure somebody said it was more anyway than that. It was like above 6 gigabytes, which is very believable. So although we're missing a couple of features, I think we saw kind of the benchmarking's gone, tiny things like that, and I'm sure they've made an effort to keep the game files quite small. I still think 4.9 gigabytes is quite a decent effort. Now, what I'm presuming is included in this 4.9 gigabytes as well is the base game as you get on the Switch, on the PC. So the base game, and also obviously the Macedon Persia DLC, the Viking DLC, the Poland DLC, and the other one which I've forgot, which is a cock-up. But yeah, so all them DLCs included is what I'm presuming is under that 4.9 gigabytes. I've not seen any confirmation of that, but I'm presuming it's just included because they come with the base game. If we want to put that into perspective of what other Switch games have, so Super Mario Odyssey is 5.7 gigabytes. Mario Kart is 6.75. Also, don't treat these numbers here. The Switch game will be 4.9 gigabytes. I've seen it on the Twitter. But I've googled kind of Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, and I'm pretty sure these are the figures, but they might be off a little bit from, because I kind of got them from GameSpot website. I'll try and leave links if I remember. So yeah. But Zelda, this is crazy, but Zelda's 13.4 gigabytes. Like, you get 32 on your Switch. How the hell can one game be nearly half? Jesus. So yeah, memory's a big thing for Switch, and if you look on their post, the Civilization 6 post, I think it says, don't worry, it's only going to be this. That's because people get worried about the memory. But yeah, personally, I'll be buying a physical copy of the game, so I won't have to install it like that, I don't think. So final thing I want to talk about today is the video that they released a couple of hours ago, and it's everything you can do in a turn of Civilization 6. Now, my initial plan was to make a whole video on this, but there wasn't enough there for me to kind of justify it. And I've also not got a great deal of time. So the biggest thing I took from it, and I would recommend you go and look at it, because it doesn't give us so much more information on controls, really, that we've not seen, and there might be some little bits. But the biggest thing I took from it was actually the tiny changes in interfaces and how the interfaces look, and how things like the tech tree look. I think that's the biggest thing, but I'll leave them in the a link in the description for that. I will remember to do that one. Anyway, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope you've learned something about Civilization 6 for the Nintendo Switch today. If you have enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more gaming content, more Civilization 6 content, and just more games. I don't even know. So yeah, also leave a comment. Let me know what you think to this news. Let me know what you think to the size of the game. Do you think it's too big a file? I don't. I think it's quite reasonable considering the size of the actual game, and there's quite a lot to do. So yeah, will you be buying the game physically or digitally? Let me know in the comments. If there's anything you'd change about this video, feel free to let me know, unless it's just abuse, in which case I will just cry. I won't really. So thank you for watching once again, and I will see you in another video.